afternoon from Los Angeles, and welcome to Stock Market Today, sponsored by Interactive Brokers. On today's show, we're going to be taking a look at two software stocks. We have Coupa and Dynatrace, and we're also checking in on the chart of Alibaba. But first, let's take a look at the major indexes. It's Alyssa Corum here, and today I'm joined by Ed Carson. And Ed, we were really able to come off of the lows of this morning. The Nasdaq finishing down about 0.55%, the S&P 500 down about 0.7%. The Dow still closed down about 1%, but definitely off of the lows from the morning.
Yeah, I mean, this morning, early in the day, President Trump said from London, saying, "Hey, it wouldn't necessarily be bad if the trade war, we didn't get a deal until after the 2020 elections." That really saying things, and it kept on getting worse and worse early on, and then it rebounded. It was pretty nice. While the industrials got hit because some of the big names like Caterpillar, fell off on economic woes, and J.P. Morgan got hit on financials. But the Nasdaq, we actually have a bright little yellow line here, so everybody can see it. It sold off, but it actually closed above the 21-day exponential moving average. Nice action here. I mean, it's been running up above on the 10-day line, which is really, you can't expect a major index to do that indefinitely. That's like what you see a super turbocharged growth stock do, and that's sort of what the market was doing. But nice action here. It's something that investors can take out. Leading stocks acted relatively well, including software, which we're going to get to. Yeah,
that's right. A lot of the names that were hit really hard yesterday, making a bit of a comeback today, but that 21-day line, definitely an impressive feat that we're still, for the Nasdaq, able to cling on to that level by the close.
Yes, it is.
All right, well, let's talk about some of the software names. Starting off with Coupa Software. This is an interesting upside reversal. The stock finishing up about 0.7% in heavy volume after getting it hit pretty hard early and even falling below the 50-day line intraday.
Yeah, it was pretty ugly, and it was sort of strange because they had strong earnings, strong guidance. Now, this company does tend to beat earnings by a lot, so that might be part of it, but it fell 8.7% intraday. Really did not look good. I mean, part of it was the market, but this was falling well beyond that. I'm not sure what was said or what changed people's minds, but this is sometimes, what happens. Rebounded nicely. It still has it has a buy point. It's still a cup base. It could soon form a handle. It'd need a couple more days. Obviously, this is a real shakeout.
Yes.
I would think weak holders, even not so weak holders, I could understand why people would get out of that. It was positive action, a lot of nice things in software today. We saw this with a lot of stocks, not maybe this dramatic, but I will say Coupa has a history of some wild action. That's something to be watching out, some failed breakouts. So it is, you have to know the character of a stock. This one, as you can see, it sort of has a lot of up and down moves there, but nonetheless, a very bullish action today.
Yeah, that's right. We can't quite see far enough back on that chart. Maybe a weekly would show it, but we did have an ascending base type pattern that it failed. Yeah. But now we do have earnings out of the way here, so we'll have to see if the market can continue to hold up. We might see it continue to move towards the buy point because the fundamental growth is really strong with Coupa.
Yes, it is.
All right, and let's take a look at a recent IPO out of the software space. Ticker there is DT, Dynatrace. It is nearing a buy point and a nice bounce off of the 10-day line here for Dynatrace, which went public in early August, and that was right around the same time that the software sector sold off. So this one has been basing for quite a while, and it's a relatively deep base, but it's worked its way up the right side of that.
Yeah, I mean, it was a 38% deep, but for a brand new IPO, when software tanking, I mean, you got to give it some forgiveness there, and it bounced back. The stock, as you see, it's sort of riding off the 10-day line, really hasn't closed below that in several weeks, maybe a couple months. Stock is getting close to the left-hand side. This is, it's now profitable. It's got sales growth that's accelerated for the last 4 quarters. It does app monitoring and analysis, and is really playing into the whole business. Businesses go to cloud computing or using that. So this is really important. It's really a hot area. IPOs are doing well. So software IPO moving, when the market's sort of moving towards software and IPOs, pretty good situation.
Yes, always good to keep a pulse on the IPO market. It's one example of one that's come down a little bit from all-time highs, but that went on a huge run, is InMode.
Yeah, that went a bit of a sell today.
But
But it's been very strong. A lot of ones out there. And I will say that on Dynatrace, that is the IBD stock of the day. So if you want to learn more about the company, really what makes it tick, I would definitely suggest reading that by Reinhard Krauss.
Yes, definitely go to investors.com and check that out. Good point, Ed. And last but not least, let's check in on the chart of Alibaba. It did close down for the day, but well off of its intraday lows, and it's holding up above a buy point.
Yeah, this was a third straight loss, but this stock, it sort of came down. It came down to just above its buy point, and it's a little sort of handle-ish 3 weeks tight buy point there. Acted well, and it was sort of surprising in a way because China stocks you might expect to be big losers. I mean, obviously, it didn't have a great day, but it was much better than even, say, Apple, which might get hit by tariffs still. We still don't know about that. But Alibaba, it's holding above a buy zone. Its pullback has come on lighter volume than that breakout, really strong breakout volume last week. So there's definitely positives. Obviously, with this stock or the market, you keep on falling 0.5%, even if you close at the end session highs, eventually that adds up.
Right.
But, today, this recent action hasn't been that bad at all.
That's right. And to give you that specific buy point there, it is 188.33. Finished the day just shy of 195 here. And it was able to find support at that 10-day line. I think lately we have been showing a lot more of these shorter term moving averages in addition to the 50-day and 200-day. Why do you think that is?
Well, for one thing, the market has been following that. I mean, the market's been acting like a growth stock. And as I say, like you look at the 10-day line, and most stocks follow the market. I mean, when it comes right down to it, some you'll outpace, you'll lag a little bit. And when the market is running up like that, I mean, most stocks are going to follow. It seemed implausible it was going to happen. I mean, the 21-day line is a little bit more plausible to try to hold that as support.
Right.
And it's okay if it breaks that every once in a while, but the 10-day line was a little bit crazy, that it would go on for 2 months. But that's what the market was doing. So we're showing you that because that's what's going on.
Mm-hmm. And those are often levels that perhaps swing traders can use the 10-day for their positions, knowing when to get in or out. And then also the 21-day helpful for perhaps knowing when to add to a position.
Yeah, and it's like a lot of growth stocks, you might say, like if it's run up a lot, if it did break the 10-day or break the 21-day, that might be a reason to pair your position a little bit.
Right.
Obviously, there's a lot of things that go on, like what is the general state of the market, what does the stock look like, as opposed to the 50-day line. That's where more institutions come in.
Definitely. All right, everyone. Thanks so much for tuning in today. A couple of quick announcements before we go. We do have a new episode of Investing Strategies out now where I sit down every week with leading experts from the financial industry at the Nasdaq market site in Times Square. And this week, since the holiday shopping season is now in full force, we had a bit of a retail and e-commerce theme to it. So make sure you go to investors.com/investing strategies to check that out. And IBD Live is another thing that we definitely want to promote. It's great, and you can check out all the details for that at investors.com/IBD Live. But Ed Carson is a very great person to explain what IBD Live is and why it's great.
Well, it's just we are already talking in the office already before we were doing this show, and we're just talking about the market, looking at the stocks that are really moving and stuff like that active investors are interested in. So it's that collective wisdom, a little bit of traders, because a lot of traders are all by themselves. I mean, it's really helpful for us just as individuals to be working on that. I think it's really great. We get questions from the audience, and there's like hundreds of people, and they're asking great questions or bringing up stocks that we hadn't thought of. We talked about Dynatrace today. A lot of stocks as they're breaking out or setting up. So I think it's really a lot of fun.
Yeah, definitely a great way to up your game and give you that edge in your trade. So make sure you check that out. All right, everyone. Thanks so much for watching today, and we'll see you right back here tomorrow.